Dana, welcome to Podcastina.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
How's your heart right now as we mourn over TikTok?
Well, I am still in denial that TikTok's getting banned, as I cannot log onto my app right now. But it's really devastating for me and sort of embarrassing to say that as a woman in her 30s who's on an app called TikTok. But I make money off of it. I have brand deals coming in this month for TikTok videos. I'm in the creator fund. TikTok money saved my life last year.
That's why they can't do this to people, because it's, I think, you and 7 million other people that are making money on it.
And it's mental health. You were saying that you scroll at night.
Oh yeah, it's my favorite. It's the highlight of my day. No, that's pathetic.
It's the highlight of my day. Is when I
just learned so much just the other day, and for an update, we're recording this the night that it's getting banned.
The TikTok ban just went through. Mm-hmm. Just on my way here, I actually uploaded my last brand video, so I'm I got that money. But then I got the notification that's the U.S. government is not allowing us to go on this app.
I just learned 2 days ago that toasters have a crumb drawer because of TikTok. Did you know every toaster has a crumb drawer that you can open at the bottom and empty the crumbs?
No.
Exactly.
You learned that from TikTok. I learned that every single ex that I have broken up with or that has broken up with me is thinking of me and very sad because the tarot readers on TikTok have confirmed. So I now know that every single man that has gotten away is still thinking of me and is trying to come back.
How will you know without our favorite app? How can they do this to us?
How will I know that these guys are meeting other women but seeing me in every woman? That's what the last one said.
I'm so on board with that stuff, but to break it down in the last 5 years, because TikTok was a saving grace for me in the thick of the pandy-wandy.
Yeah.
And has since been the place where I'm telling you, I figured out skincare. I didn't know what the fuck retinol was. I didn't know what niacinamide was. I didn't know what any ingredient of anything was. Hair tutorials out the ass. Figuring out my vitamins. I somehow ended up on bodybuilder talk, which I don't know why, but it's been very useful. I think TikTok thinks that I'm a bodybuilder, but just the learning has been immeasurable, and I'm devastated, and I know a lot of the audience is feeling that same sentiment.
Yeah, there was a man who would scream at me from his car and be like, "You're worthy! He doesn't deserve you! Get out there and focus on yourself!" And I'm like, I don't have a dad, you know what I mean? So I needed him. And now I don't have a man in his car to scream at me.
It's not fair.
To know my worth. I have learned so much. Also, I've learned so much about narcissists.
Same.
There's a whole narcissist talk, and even in the comments of people being I did not know that my last 20-year relationship was with a narcissist before TikTok. The amount of information that people share is immeasurable. And what if this whole episode is just us crying about TikTok?
And then they bring it back on Monday.
And then we're just kidding, everything we said.
Barron Trump saved the day. That's what the meme is.
I sort of feel here's my prediction. I think Trump will save it last minute.
He'll at least extend it, and then we'll be feeling like this for what I think I heard the extension was 200 and some days.
But he also hates China.
I know, but isn't it Singaporean? Didn't we learn that in all of this? Isn't the owner from Singapore that his whole
Isn't that
meeting
China?
with Congress was...
Singapore's China. No.
It's its own country. Edit that out. It is.
But it's close to China.
Yeah, proximity-wise.
It's an island.
Not quite.
Okay.
That's okay. I don't know either, actually. I can't definitively say, but I did see the congressional hearing where whatever congressman it was that was just giving him 21 questions, he kept responding with, "I'm Singaporean. No, I was in the Singaporean army and I served them." And the congressman was like, "But what about China?" And he's like, "I'm telling you, I'm not with China."
He's with Singapore? The whole time he's with Singapore? We gotta figure out on a map how close it is.
We do.
Because why are they confusing it with China? I'm not good. I thought I was good with geography. I mean, I'm sort of, but I do have really dumb moments. Like when I was getting my nails done at my sister's nail salon in Connecticut, they were talking about how they were from Korea, and I literally said this. I wasn't thinking. I go, are you from North or South?
A valid question, because if it's North, it's a really good story that you're about to get.
And my sister looked at me and she goes, Dana, no one in North Korea leaves. And I said, but maybe sometimes they do.
Yeah.
And she goes,
give them a chance.
No, she goes, you literally should never say that ever again. And I was like, okay.
I've done that before. I think it was 2017 or 2018.
This was a while ago. I don't know why I acted like this just happened. I thought it would make the story better, but this definitely was like...
It was pre-TikTok when you didn't know geography.
It was pre-TikTok that I asked this question for sure. And then I got obsessed with people in North Korea from TikTok. These videos that were showing like there's 5 haircuts that they can get.
I've seen that.
Did you see? And then there's, they have a dress code. Like women have to wear slacks, like you can't wear jeans, and they all have to wear this like certain different styles of clothing, and they all kind of like look the same. Crazy.
It is crazy. I used to think Portugal was in South America until I went, so you're not alone.
Where's Portugal?
Europe.
Damn. Even Monty's like, you need to get it together.
Yeah. He understands. He listens, he doesn't judge.
He doesn't. You listen and you don't judge. Yeah. I also, you can't speak in TikTok anymore. You can't speak in like...
I'll speak in TikTok till I die, and 170 million people are going to understand me and be on board.
I do have to say, I think it is making me dumb, the scrolling, because I scroll so much and for so long, and I lose... My thoughts are not as quick. I'm not as fast. My brain has slowed down.
Mine has too. You know what's helping? I'm not a scientist, but I started taking creatine like a month ago. And I swear, my vocabulary has, and I'm going to disprove my point in this episode, but the creatine's been helping me remember words that I feel like otherwise I would reach for and they wouldn't be there.
Okay, I'll try that, because I definitely need something, because I used to be a lot faster, and my brain doesn't move as fast, I feel. But when I'm on stage and I'm doing stand-up, everything's fast. My brain is like da 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 da. So it's still working for that.
I wonder how much of that, though, is experience, right? Like, you've been doing it long enough that's...
Maybe.
You just get in a mode, and then you can just go.
The experience part of stand-up is cool because you're, like, so comfortable on stage that you don't have the, like, fear of dying up there. So you can relax and, like, take a beat and kind of, like, be out of your head in a way.
It does feel like an escape sometimes. I notice when I don't do it. Like, we just went through the fires and I didn't get on stage for probably 10 days, which is a big stretch for me.
I like how you said we went through the fires. You're like, I walked through all the fires.
Los Angeles went through the fires.
We went through fires. We took Tony Robbins' course and walked through hospitals at the same time.
Yeah, but the mood was so murky that I was not in the mood, and things were getting canceled, obviously.
Oh.
And
yeah, everything was canceled. Yeah. I went crazy.
Oh yeah, I'm still going crazy.
Oh, you are?
A little bit. I have gone 2 days without crying now, and I feel so stupid considering I didn't lose anything, but I also know that it's a very shared feeling that even for those of us that didn't lose anything, the anxiety of going through that kind of fear and having people you love that are going through that.
You can feel it. We're all empathetic creatures, and it's in our city. Also, the entire PCH is burnt down. Like, that's a Southern California staple, and Los Angeles is gone. Like, it's so tragic.
It's so tragic.
Like, towns are burnt. That people that we know. It's all. I think it affects all of us. I mean, obviously, it affects people more who have lost their home, but especially just the trauma of. I live on the east side of LA, and I was in between. I'm in between the Eaton fire and then the Sunset fire popped up, and the evacuations were closing in on me. Like, I was bordering, my area was like bordered around evacuations from 2 fires. And I freaked out. I was like, if this closes, I was just like, I can't, I mean, I left.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't fathom, like, what if something else pops up and then, like, everyone's trying to leave and you can't leave. That was the fear. So I just, like, packed a suitcase and I went to San Diego.
That's so valid. I almost left. I had a suitcase packed. And then one of the days, we all started getting false evacuation alerts, like the whole county. And I was braced for it.
I was out of town for that. But I heard everyone was
here
getting
for
evacuated.
It. Yeah, it was so ridiculous. It was like 4 p.m. I'm on the toilet. And I get the evacuation notice. And I text my brother who's down in Torrance, him and his wife. And I was like, well, it's time, because I had texted them before that they were going to be my go-to, and I had a bag. And I was like, this is it, guys, I'm coming. I just got the evacuation alert. And then they text me back, and they're like, yeah, we got it too. And I go, what? In Torrance? You know, and I'm just like losing my mind before it dawns on me that it might be a false alarm. And then I start hearing in all my group chats, everyone's like, it was a false alarm. Even the people on Catalina got it. And I was like, this is not okay, because we've all been bracing ourselves to have to evacuate for, at that point, I think it was like 72 hours, right? So everyone was just not sleeping, on edge, ready to go, figuring out what in their possession they give a shit about, like what's worth saving.
Who made that mistake?
It was a machine. It wasn't a human error, because I saw an interview with the man who works for that department, who I guess is their spokesperson. He could not have been more apologetic, rightfully so, because all these millions of people panicked getting these false alarms. But he was basically borderline crying at the podium going, we're so fucking sorry. It was a machine error. There's not a person there mistakenly sending these alerts out. So he was trying to explain it. And then at that point, the system that was in charge, it switched hands. So went over from being the local alert system, they were like, okay, you're done now, because they sent a false alarm at 3 a.m. too. So they switched it off of that system and onto the statewide alert system, and then the false alarms stopped.
What if this was like a promo for like a new prank show? And like Ashton Kutcher's bringing back bottom. Guys, new season.
Yeah, that's his comeback tour.
Yeah, literally. But that's crazy to me. I feel like that's a mistake you cannot make. It's like so many. How many people live in LA? Millions?
I think at least 10 million, if not 17 million in the greater area.
Millions of people affected. Yeah. I didn't sleep for that full week. I just like constantly kept waking up. Even when I wasn't there, I wasn't able to sleep. It was so disorienting.
It wasn't. I was on TikTok normally I'm on TikTok till about 12:30. That's kind of my self-imposed cutoff before I'm like, all right, bitch, you gotta get that 8 hours. And I'll stop myself at 12:30. I was doom scrolling until like 2, 3 a.m. I couldn't stop, and I couldn't sleep.
The doom scrolling is actually really bad. Remember the guy on TikTok who was like, evacuate California? Do you remember him?
Oh, I don't know if I got him.
He wasn't your algorithm.
No, I don't think so. I was just watching guys like lift really heavy while that was going on.
My algorithm is crazy. It's conspiracy theories, it's tarot readers, and narcissist videos. And one guy being like, evacuate California. He flew here from Atlanta, and he was wearing Evacuate California shirts, and he was running around filming himself, screaming at everyone to evacuate. And people were like, I mean, my family's here. Like, I can't. Like, what are you doing? But he claimed there's going to be big earthquakes. I sort of had a feeling, I don't know if this is negative to talk about, but
go for it.
Comedy podcast, right? I'm like, tragedy.
It's comedy adjacent.
Let me tell you about how my dad died in a car crash and burned alive. Okay.
I refuse to box myself in with this is strictly a comedy show. This is an honesty show.
Yeah, so what was I talking about?
The Evacuate California guy? Oh no, the earthquake predictions.
I had a feeling in the summer, and I made a story on Instagram, and I was just like, if someone reminded me about this, I felt like something really bad was going to happen in the new year in 2025 in LA. Not even California. I was like, in LA, something's gonna happen. I feel it. I feel like I need to leave here. Like, where do I move? I just like can't shake this feeling. And I forgot that I made this post, and then this woman who follows me commented on a video and was like, hey, didn't you like predict that like something was gonna happen? And I'm like, I think I should be a psychic. Why am I a comedian?
Did you just get a bad vibe?
I got a really, yeah, it was, and it kept coming up, you know? Like I couldn't shake it, and then I was like, do I move? And that's when I made a post. I'm like, where would I move? Like, what other city?
I still don't know anywhere but here, and there's realistically for comedians you have like 3 options, and I'm definitely already living in my favorite of those 3.
New York, I have to make way more money. I already know that.
Also, I shouldn't hate on New York. I'm not going to hate on New York. If you have a lot of resources and you can be comfortable there, wonderful city, magical city. For me, at my tax bracket, I would never enjoy myself there because I need to like recharge in solitude, and I know I would never fucking be alone. I wouldn't have a car to be alone in. I would be surrounded by people like with transportation all the time. I would be surrounded by people because I would have 14 roommates in order to afford it. I would just never be alone. And so
you can't go to nature.
No, you can't go to nature, and the park doesn't count.
I mean, I would want a private driver. I don't even want to take Ubers. I mean, I could take Ubers in New York, but I would want my own space. I would want the ability to go to upstate New York whenever I want, but I have family in Connecticut, so I can escape, to Connecticut. But yeah, I would need to be making like way more money to enjoy it. And Austin, I've done stand-up in Austin, and I don't think I connect that well with them. Like, I have so many spiritual jokes and like wellness and like manifesting. It's like they go, she's speaking in Arabic, I'm not, this isn't my language.
If you can't talk to them about ice baths, you can't talk to them.
They don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You can't be like, I'm vegan, and they're like, what is
they're like
that?
Terry Blacks, get out of here.
Yeah. we don't understand. Or just being like, even like talking about like dating, like my dating jokes I feel like didn't really land. I don't know. I haven't done like an insane amount of stand-up there. I haven't tested it a lot. Like, my stand-up does really well in New York. I feel like I get a better response in New York than LA, to be honest.
I think I've had that experience as well, and I only have a tiny bit of experience doing stage time in Austin. But the problem with Austin for me, aside from the fact that it's in Texas and I don't want to live in Texas.
Oh, really? You don't want to live in Texas?
No, because here's the thing.
Texas is so cool. I would love to live in Austin.
There's fun things about it, however, I can't with that fucking climate. The guys are hot. I can't with that climate, though. I went there in July, and I broke out in a heat rash. And, like, I've traveled to tropical places in my life. I've never gotten a heat rash.
It's not,
fucking outside before.
It's really hot and humid, and then it gets really cold.
Yeah. And now that we know that their power grid isn't exactly dependable, that's another factor, because how many days does the power have to be out before society descends into chaos?
Right.
And everyone there has guns.
But I would get a gun.
Yeah.
Even though I don't know how to shoot it, and I would probably just end up killing myself by accident.
I would too. This is a pro. There may or may not already be a gun in this apartment.
Really?
There's a large amount of weaponry in this apartment.
Listen,
there's 2 very paranoid ladies that live here, so we got it all.
Don't fuck with Galina. She's strapped. This bitch strapped.
But what about, I want to stay on TikTok, but we can't just have like a TikTok funeral episode.
I know, that's a great title. TikTok funeral episode.
There's just so many things. If it does, I think it will come back. I think it's right to be optimistic. We're going to put it out there.
We're going to put it out there that it's coming back.
So let's switch gears here. Speaking of putting it out there.
Yeah.
You're a woo-woo girly.
Yes.
I love this so much. What's too woo-woo?
What is too woo-woo?
Where's the line for you?
I don't think there's a line for me.
Oh.
I don't think I have a line. Like, you know what the line is? Drinking your own urine.
That's a very good line.
That is.
Don't cross that.
I know people.
We both do.
And I love them. And you know what? I kind of can understand. I can't get on board. I don't judge them. I'll tell you that. I don't judge them. But I just don't understand how our own urine has like self-healing electrolytes. I mean, especially like first thing in the morning, you're supposed to drink your urine first thing in the morning.
That would be the worst urine to drink. I mean,
it
I
has
don't think
the
any of it
most-
would be good, but
It has the most benefits. I don't know anything, but I do know that like we're peeing out toxins.
yeah, that's the point of the kidneys.
Oh, and then we're drinking the toxins. I'm not a scientist. I don't know, but intuitively, I feel like I get a read on things intuitively. But that just it still doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah, that's a really good line.
People are like, "Hey, I have my period and I put it on my face and it's a face mask," and I go, "Yeah."
Oh, I have to speak on that now that you bring that
I
up.
mean, have I tried it? No. Will I try it? I don't know.
Here's why you might try it. And
I
once
might try it
again-
on a full moon if I'm in a ceremony in Joshua Tree and I'm feeling witchy and we're like howling at the moon and I'm like, I'll put some period blood on my face.
Okay, not to bring up TikTok again, but I did learn this on TikTok from this woman who's a scientist, and she's studying the menstrual cycle and different benefits of it. And she explained that we actually have more stem cells in our period blood than they do in bone marrow. So
Let's do it right now. Let's stop the podcast. Let's do it right now. Let's go to the bathroom.
So there is something to that. I don't know if you can actually get the benefit of stem cells just by rubbing period blood on your. I think you would have to. It would have to be Injected, right? But there is something to that other than chaos.
Yeah.
I think I have probably a slightly firmer line than you do on woo-woo stuff.
You do? Tell me yours.
So I am very into all of the manifestation,
Visualization. Meditation.
writing stuff down, meditating, all that, because I know that does impact your neuroplasticity and it does actually rewire your brain. And if it does nothing else, it makes you a more positive person. At the very
And your
least.
thoughts, it's like your thoughts create your reality. We all know that. So if your thoughts are more positive, you're going to create a more positive environment.
Yeah, and if that's what you're paying attention to, it's also just going to outline your whole experience every day. If you're like, let me look for the positive, let me talk about and think about the positive, I think my line is that it doesn't extend into inanimate objects. So I'm not like a crystal girly, haven't been a tarot card girly.
Oh.
So I draw the line.
You draw the line at crystals?
I draw the line at objects outside of myself.
But let me challenge.
Please.
Do you believe that you are an energetic being?
I do.
Okay, so you are beyond your physical. You're vibrating.
I'm radiating something.
Yeah.
Besides Chernobyl radiation.
So even with inanimate objects, don't they have an energetic quality? Because they're not just, you're physical, right? And energetic. And so even if it's inanimate, it also it's giving off an energy.
Okay, I like that, but I can't justify tarot cards because I've been in so many situations where there's been really inaccurate ones pulled for me and pulled for people I've been with, and then I'm watching everyone do mental gymnastics to make them make sense.
Right.
And I'm like, is it just that maybe they don't make sense? Instead of us being like, oh,
Who pulled
I'm
them?
cheating on my husband.
Who pulled the card?
It's been different people.
Like an actual tarot reader?
Usually no. Is that the trick, that it has to be someone that's more knowledgeable with the tarot cards? Because it's always been, the way that I've done them recently has been like I'm the one that has to split the deck and find the different ones. But every time I've done that, they're always like, hey, you're cheating on your husband. And I'm like, I don't have a husband, so...
The tarot reader says you're cheating on your husband?
No, the
Or
cards
the cards?
always say something that just really could not apply to me less.
The card's like, you have gonorrhea. You're
Basically.
like, everything's
I'm
fine.
like, no one's touched me for years.
Yeah.
So
I'm a virgin.
is the gonorrhea in the room with us?
Yeah, I think it's more real when you like physically put your energy and hands on it and do it yourself. I haven't had a lot of success with like tarot readers I've hired and paid for. They sort of steered me in the wrong direction.
Okay, that's a little more comforting that you've had some weird
I had
experiences.
I had a tarot reader that told me, okay, with the person that I was dating at the time, they were like, you're gonna get a proposition on this date from this person. And I didn't, and it ended. It actually ended like a day after or something. And I mean, well, the timing was actually right. Actually, wait.
Oh.
I guess a proposition could be an ending. No, what's a proposition?
An offer, right?
And the offer was, it's over. So, okay, maybe the generator was correct.
I guess that could be an offer, yeah. But are we doing mental gymnastics now to make it make sense?
Or did I create that? Because in my head, I was like, something's going to happen around this date.
Right, self-fulfilling
prophecy. And then I made it happen.
Yeah. It could be.
I don't know. I do think I believe more in astrology because my astrologist, Sean, at the Astrology Guy on Instagram, he's the best. He has predicted everything. Like, truly everything. Yeah. And he also, I sent him a chart, or not chart, a birth chart of the person I was dating, and he was like, no.
Oh.
He goes, this is not going to work. And he explained how this person operates and how it's not going to work and what's going to bother me. And he was spot on. Like, so accurate. And he's like, you're probably going to hear from him, like, on this day. And I did.
Oh.
I was like, oh.
That's pretty mind-blowing. I've always turned my back on astrology because I'm a Gemini and people have always given me shit about being a Gemini, and so I didn't want to be participating in a group that I thought was discriminating against me.
No, Geminis are misunderstood. I'm a Gemini rising.
Okay.
So I present to your rising sign.
I don't know what is rising, landing, what does that mean?
Right. What is rising, landing, sending? No, rising, it's sun, moon, rising. And sun is the month you were born. Rising is essentially your personality. It's like who you present to the world is your rising sign. And then your moon sign are your emotional inner world. And when you're matching with someone romantically, even friendship wise, any relationship, if your moons are in the same element, or same sign, you connect with that person because you connect with them emotionally. So like I'm a Leo moon, that's fire, Leo's fire. So I mesh well with other like fire moons, like Aries moons, Leo moons. What's another fire sign?
I'm the wrong person to ask.
Damn it.
And how do you know those, your rising and your...
You put in your time of birth, where you were born. Time of birth, date, and where you were born.
Okay.
Yeah. You're skeptical, but I'll get you.
I am, yeah.
I'll get you on my side in no time. I'm nervous because of my birthday.
No, I haven't heard you burp for once.
I'm drinking so many carbonated beverages right now that I'm like...
Our mutual friend, Stacia Patwell, is the one that got me on Diet Coke. I never used to drink Diet Coke.
Oh no, did she really?
Yeah, I didn't drink...
She talks about it all the time in her workouts.
I don't know, and I haven't even really done her workouts, but just from hanging out with her, Diet Coke was always around. Yes. It was always like, we would order food back when she lived in Venice, and there would be Diet Cokes, and I tried it thinking I didn't like it from years before, and then all of a sudden I was hooked, and it somehow feels like a less guilty pleasure because it's fake sugar.
Well, it's definitely like my go-to when I go out because I don't drink. And I should let you guys know that I'm better than everyone because I don't drink at all. So I'm superior because I don't drink.
It is something to be proud of.
Can you imagine if that's how I introed myself every time I told people I don't drink? I have Diet Coke as like my treat if I go out.
I do that now too because I don't...
And regular Coke. Cocaine.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. But I'm sober. I'm sober.
I sometimes... No. I was about to be like, I wish I was an alcoholic because AA seems so fun.
No.
Oh. No, that's a crazy thing to say.
It's depressing. No, but back to Stacia. When I think of Stacia, I think of Diet Coke, Nicorette, and lip gloss.
Yeah. That's fair.
Shout out Stacia. School of thought.
That's right.
I love her.
Do you have other guilty pleasures?
Other than TikTok, I bought a vape because the air quality in LA is so bad that I said, okay.
I love that justification.
Yeah, I was like, whatever. I'm already inhaling this when I'm walking around, so I might as well vape it up. But wear a mask. Are you wearing a mask?
I have been, and I didn't for 2 days.
I didn't today because I was filming, so I couldn't like mess up my makeup. But
yeah, otherwise I have been. I've had the air purifiers. It's running in my room. It's been running 24/7.
You too.
So we've been doing that. But I will say the first couple days my lungs were really hurting. And then on day 4 or 5, I woke up nauseous, like fully nauseous, really bad headache. I had to take a Zofran just to pull myself out of bed. I was in bed till like 1:30, just
headache's
struggling.
bad. I've been noticing like off and on today I've had a headache and nausea off and on, and I can't help but think it's like the fires. But that's why I also was happy to be in San Diego for I was there for 4 days because the air quality I knew was so bad here that I was like, and my friend is a doctor and she's like, it's even bad there, and I'm like, okay, no it's not, like, settle down,
Relax.
Yeah.
What are you supposed to?
And I ordered
Where are you supposed to go?
I ordered a PPE mask. And it looks like one of those like end of the world, like Armageddon. It has tubes.
Oh, wow.
And I thought I was getting checked out today at Trader Joe's by this really hot guy. And then I was like, oh, he's just staring at me because I'm wearing a mask. Hey, babe, you into this? And he's like, no, you look like an idiot.
I did feel a little self-conscious walking into Trader Joe's with my mask on the other day. I had that experience too.
So self-conscious. But then at the end of the day, you're like, they can't see me.
Yeah.
I don't know who I am.
But then I try to smile at people from behind my mask and it's like...
Oh, my favorite, and this is what I did in COVID. My favorite is I never smiled. I would just go like this.
Oh, that's great.
To people. I would look at people and go, because then it looks like you're smiling.
Yeah.
Or
so right.
actually maybe glare. But yeah, it's a good move.
What made this guy attractive at Trader Joe's?
Oh my god. He was really tall and he had facial hair. It's just, that's all
Is that your go-to?
That's all you need. Facial hair, tall, biceps, maybe tattoos.
Ooh, tattoos.
Maybe.
Sometimes I feel like
It's
a dumb bitch
biceps.
that it's so tempting. Like tattoos. There's something about it.
There's something about it. Yeah. My Jessica Michelle was just like, you would have sex with just a bicep with facial hair. And I was like, I literally tried that before. Like, I actually did. It's spot on. I don't know. I love it so much. It's such a turn on. I don't know what it is with arms, but like I actually don't like a six pack. I was talking to this guy recently who was in such good shape that I was like, you wouldn't be fun to go out to dinner with because you wouldn't order anything. Like I want to go out with somebody with a split the abs.
You can be
have some bread.
80-20 and still have a six-pack. If you're actually 80-20 as far as diet, if you really try to be
no,
strict.
he had like his six-pack was like an 8-pack. It was not like
so he doesn't eat fun.
I mean, look, toned for sure, but like I don't know. If he has like a bicep and like a hard chest and like you don't need the stomach to be, it's fine.
I agree.
This is just me being like attracted to my dad. It's my dad's body. So weird. Every guy I date is literally my dad. I swear to God. I'm like, what? Someone needs to study my brain. This is not good.
So what are your red flags? Do you know them?
Alcoholics. Very, very funny. Very charming. Facial hair. Hot and cold. It's my dad. That's what I'm attracted to.
Ooh.
Guys who are hot and cold. Because I'm like, I can earn your love. Because that's all I tried to do as a kid. I'm like, Dad, come on. But it's funny because because my dad was an alcoholic, so he was like he was like, he had two personalities. He was like so funny, so loving, so amazing, so obsessed with me. And then it would just like switch. And he would be like, silent and cold and angry and,
It's impossible to reconcile that when you're a kid because you don't know what alcoholism is. You don't know what
No.
those behaviors are, and you think it's your fault.
I think it's your fault, and you're like, wait, but it's like confusing because you're like, you loved me yesterday, and you were like, everything I did was perfect, and now all I'm doing is annoying you, and you're like, how do I get back to? And it's something about like my subconscious is thinking with men as an adult that's love. Isn't that so annoying that our subconscious does that?
Yeah, I think
it does it with everyone.
It does it with absolutely everyone. And the scariest part about it is I keep learning how little control we have as far as how much we're being primed throughout the day, and experiences that we're not even taking in consciously are impacting our behavior, our thoughts, how we're reacting to things, how we're feeling. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
I read this book called Drunk Tank Pink by Adam Grant last year, and it's just all about how like the beginning story at the book is that they had painted a jail cell pink, and the result was that the people that were held in that cell were like way calmer and happier and less violent, and so the impact of just the color pink was changing their behavior. And then there's all these different but similar stories throughout, all these research projects where in an area that was high crime, they put in one of those, you know, the police boxes with the lights, with the blue lights, and just having a blue light that was the same color as the police light was deterring crime in a measurable amount.
Wow.
Or like a billboard that you might have seen 3 hours ago that you didn't even fucking register is going to impact your mood, because we're taking so many things in subconsciously that are impacting us that we don't know about.
Yeah, this is why we're stressed out all the time. Just because of like, we're just being bombarded. Like our nervous system is like overwhelmed with like everything, especially living in a city.
Living in a city and being on the phone and making contact with so many people.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. I mean, I also realize when I wear pink, when I wear light pink, I feel like more like feminine and like dainty. And then when I wear black, I'm like guarded.
I love wearing black, but I will wear pink to be manipulative, actually, because I know this, because there is science behind wearing pink does make you more approachable in someone's head. That's a thing. Wearing red makes you more powerful.
Yes, red lips. When I have red lips on, I feel like a vixen, but also like a powerful vixen. Like I'm like, I can do anything. I can seduce any man with
there's something about it.
Stare with my lips. There's a move. Learn this from TikTok.
Oh.
There's a move you do when you go out to the bar.
I think I know what you're talking about. It's not called crazy eyes, but it's something eyes. Sticky eyes.
Sticky eyes.
Yes, I just learned about sticky eyes.
I want to do it so bad.
Me too.
I'm going out tonight to my friend's birthday, and I'm going to do it and see if it works.
Please let me know.
So what you do is you make eye contact, and only a woman can do this. You make eye contact with a man. He looks at you. You look away really fast. And then you look back at him.
You hold his gaze.
And you hold his gaze until he looks away. And then you summon him over to you.
Yeah, it only works if you're attractive, also.
Really?
Probably. I mean, you'll be fine. Try it. Go do the experiment.
I'm gonna
You're
try
an attractive lady, so if it works, it's gonna work.
Except for me, though, I feel like I get so into character that I'm gonna be like... and the man's gonna be like, this is scary. He's gonna be like, is she like constipated? What's happening?
But I want you to try it and report back, because I just learned about this probably the same day you did, and I've been waiting for an opportunity to use it, and I just haven't seen anyone that I want to try it on.
Yeah. I also think, I don't know, there's a debate between approaching men in a bar or when you're out, approaching them and talking to them first if you find them attractive, or waiting for them to talk to you. But I think just go up and like find a reason to like say hi, and if they're interested, they'll do the legwork. Because I'll never go up to a guy and ask for his number. I'll go up to a guy and be like, hey, you know, what's up? And like talk to him, and then it's up to him to be like, can I have your number?
Yeah, 1,000%.
Don't you think?
It should be. I definitely try. I certainly wasn't doing proper sticky eyes because I didn't know about it, but I have definitely tested the thing of like trying to make eye contact with someone so I can at least like smile and seem inviting, because I definitely have resting bitch face, and I think a lot of times people are not interested in talking to me because I don't look approachable.
I'm saying this because I feel like men get rejected so much. And if you really see a guy that you're really attracted to, just like, what is the big deal to go up and say hi? And I'm saying this as someone who never approached a man, like, ever. Like, I just started doing it this year because my friend told me. My friend's like, every relationship I've ever been in, I've went up to the guy.
Okay.
And it's also like, I don't know, I feel like the guys that come up to you, you're like, not that.
Yeah, the guys that come up to
The guys that come up to you are like players.
They're either players or they've never spoken to a woman before. I had a man come up to me at a bar. One of the last times this happened to me. And he comes up to me and he's like, where are you from? And I told him Cleveland. And he goes, oh, I flew out of Youngstown once. Not the same city. I'm like, what the fuck did you just say to me?
Some guys will come up to you and they don't know how to have a conversation with a woman. And it's so uncomfortable because I'm also like a people pleaser, so I'll stay in the conversation and I will be hating my life for 20 minutes. And I have a friend who's the exact opposite. She literally looked up at a guy. We were at the bar and guys were coming up to us, and this guy goes up to her and he goes, hey, can I have your number? And she goes, me? He goes, yeah. And she goes, no. Who, me? No. And he goes, oh, okay, bye. And I go, you know what I would have done? Given him my number, because I feel bad saying no. And then he would have texted me and I would have blocked him.
I'm more like her, but I have friends that are like you that I go out with. And I kind of end up being the buffer because they'll trap us in conversations with men that neither of us want to be talking to, and it takes my cold shoulder to get them to skedaddle.
Yeah, I feel so bad because I also know, like, I'm like, no one wants to be rejected. Like, it's not a good feeling, you know. I feel bad for them. And then I do this thing, which is worse. I'm like, no, but follow me on Instagram, and then they like know my show and know where I'm at. And like, I went to this happened recently. I went to a law of attraction seminar, and it was all about manifesting money and like how to be a millionaire and how to get into the energetic state, right? And I left and this guy came up to me and he was like, oh, you know, I loved your share. I think I like spoke about something or whatever. And he's like, you know, you're very funny, you're a comedian, blah, blah, blah. And he asked for my number, didn't give him my number, gave him my Instagram, and he started stalking me.
Uh-oh.
And I'm like, I literally went to a law of attraction seminar to manifest millions, and all I got was a stalker. He actually had a trust fund, so he was rich.
Oh, then what was he doing there? I guess stalking women.
He was trying to figure out how to make his own money because he never made his own money. It's his family money.
I can respect that, but I can't respect the stalking.
No. And the worst part is I ended up giving him my number. I don't know why. He ended up getting...
Well, people pleasing, right?
He ended up getting my number through, like, Instagram DMs, and I was on the phone with him, and I'm like, okay, I gotta go. I'm, like, running errands or whatever. I gotta go to the grocery store, and he keeps me on the phone, and then I get to the grocery store, and I'm like, okay, I gotta go. Like, I literally just got to Whole Foods, and I can't multitask. Like, I can't grocery shop and talk to someone on the phone. Like, I just can't. I need to be, like, focused. I also love grocery shopping. It's so
I love
fun.
grocery shopping so much.
When people are like, I Instacart everything, I'm like, that's so boring.
I would never take grocery shopping away from myself because I used to go as a kid with my mom and I enjoyed it so much that I think I grew up to love grocery shopping.
Yeah, and
my limit would be, as far as fame, I'm like, I don't ever want to be at a place where I can't grocery shop.
Oh. That's good.
Yeah.
That's a good limit. Yeah, I mean, I like to pick out my own produce. Like, I don't want produce that a stranger touched. And I don't trust that, like, they're getting the broccoli I want. I don't know.
They're probably not.
I have
I don't think
control.
they're that deeply impassioned. For
No,
what
I like.
you're getting.
Yeah, I have like a control issue, but this guy wouldn't get off the phone with me, and I realized I was like, oh, this man's weird, and then was just like showing up like he was just. Anyways, he's blocked. So no more law of attraction seminars for me.
What was the seminar like other than that?
It was good. It was like a room full of people who were sort of just like working through ways to like get into like alignment and like sharing their, you know, success stories or like struggles or whatever. And then they would like play like a video and then have like exercises for us to do. But yeah, it's cool. Would I recommend? Maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
I'm curious because I definitely listen to a lot of the types of people that throw those seminars, but I have yet to be motivated to go.
Do you listen to Abraham Hicks?
I do.
Yeah. It was Abraham.
It was that.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be curious just to see who else was in the room. I think the people watching would be good at something like that.
Yeah, I mean, there was sort of a weird overlap. Like, I sold my chairs on OfferUp to a man who was there. And, like, there was someone else, like, through comedy. Like, it was interesting, the people that I've already crossed paths with who were, like, there. And you're like, is this law of attraction? Bringing me a man who, like, bought my chairs and... Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
I've brought some really weird, super specific things in that I'm like, oh, I manifested that for sure.
Yeah.
So I definitely am on board with it.
It's crazy when you think of something and you're like, oh, this would be cool. I wish I can come up with like a real example because it just happened recently where I go, oh, this is what I want. And then it just literally appears the next day, like out of thin air.
Are you good at letting go of those things and being like, I want it, I'm not gonna squeeze tight because I squeeze tight and then
you don't get it.
I don't, yeah.
You can't want it. The things that come in like very easily are things that I'm like, you know.
Same.
I want it and I think about how I want it and then I definitely forget about it and then it comes.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's my blind spot though, is I'm like, how do I forget about it if I want it badly enough to try to bring it in?
I think that's the trick. You have to be so good at also ignoring your current reality.
Yeah, that's a big one. But I just keep...
I call it the dead world.
Ooh, explain this.
So what's going on right now in this moment is the dead world because it is created from our past. Like everything we're doing right now in this present moment was created because of the thoughts we were thinking and what we wanted in our past, which is dead because we're not there anymore. So now the current reality is dead. So if you think of it like that, it really allows you to be like, oh, let me focus my energy on what I want for the future since I can create that now. It's really hard to do.
Yeah, it sounds hard to do, but it also reminds me of how we see the light from stars that probably died a long time ago, and you can think of it as like the light from your old star.
Mm-hmm. That's sweet. This is a manifestation podcast.
It definitely can be sometimes. I talk about it a lot because it's an interest of mine and it's something I'm always exploring and just
I love it.
It's my psychology of it.
It's my favorite. These are my favorite conversations to have. Like I went on, I had a first date recently and we actually, no it wasn't because you know what's funny? Someone I dated in September reached out to me like 2 days after I ended a situation and I was like, how'd you know? Like men know.
Oh. Yeah, something goes out into the universe and they get like a little itch in their balls and they're like, oh, she's single again. It definitely happens.
Yeah, and him and I had this conversation just about like I don't know, it just got super deep and at the end he's like, honestly, I've only had conversations like this with people when I'm on mushrooms. And he's like, it's so weird that you're sober. He's like, what would we talk about if we were on mushrooms? Because we just were talking about it. Yeah, it just started from like you know, creating things, and we were talking about our dreams, and then we were talking about the things that like block us, like, you know, things in our subconscious and trauma, but we didn't like get into too deep of like trauma, because I used to do that on dates all the time.
Trauma bond.
Yeah, and it was like we didn't get too deep into that, but then it was just like talking about, you know, like the universe and kind of like the laws of how these, whatever it was. And I thought, I was like, that this is, I'm like a I don't know, I was like, I feel like I get that feedback a lot, where people are like, are you just like on psychedelics? I'm like, no, I'm so good.
But that's a superpower to be able to tap into that stuff without it, because I think sometimes taking psychedelics can be the portal, the shortcut into that place. If you're getting there without it, that's magic.
Ooh.
I've really only been there with mushrooms. Sorry, Mom.
But not sorry, because mushrooms wake you up.
Because I've learned a lot on mushrooms.
Yeah.
My dead dog visited me on mushrooms. That was a really powerful experience.
What did your dog say?
She just was like sitting on my chest and comforting me and telling me everything was fine. She was just like along for the journey with me.
It
was so nice.
Was it laced with something more than mushrooms?
No, but it was sound bath and mushrooms and a lot of mushrooms, and so I left this plane. I was in a different dimension, and after that I was like, oh, different dimensions are real, because I went to them.
That's my favorite thing.
And I went to them safely, and it wasn't scary, and it wasn't anything. And other times I've taken mushrooms just for fun, you know, or at like a music festival, or just vibing, laughing, like hanging out. And then other times I've taken them and been like, okay, I have to go in now. And so I'll just like go and lay down and listen to very specific music and let myself have the experience, and all of a sudden have some kind of breakthrough memory from childhood, you know, or some big breakthrough will come. But I don't want to be dependent on something like that for those breakthroughs. So
you don't need it.
Yeah.
You don't need it. And this is what I say when people want to do ayahuasca. I'm like, if you're committed to daily meditations and you're committed to like truly checking in with yourself, and you have practices that you're implementing, you can get there without all that. And it's also like, it's sort of, I feel this way about DMT and ayahuasca. I feel like it's this shortcut that fades.
Yeah.
You get these downloads, you get these realizations, and you get these epiphanies about yourself and about what's standing in your way, and then you feel sort of like, oh, I get it, right? Like, I've had all these breakthroughs and I feel more conscious and I know what to do, and then it kind of leaves you though.
I've never...
It like stays with you for like a week.
Yeah, that's obvious. I have
but
no
then it
desire to do
slowly leaves, and it's like, I mean, I don't know. This is also me being like, I'm probably too scared to do it, but I feel like I can get there with my healing, like, without it.
You definitely can, because the other place where I've repeatedly had breakthroughs has just been in therapy, and that's always something I'm doing sober, and now I'm in Al-Anon as well, and I'm starting to get... I love Al-Anon too. I've been in it since July. Good. It's been so transformative for me. I'm like, thank God there's a 12-step for me.
Oh, I went to Al-Anon, a women's meeting, and I shared and cried and just like literally like ripped my heart out of my chest and was so vulnerable and so raw with what I was feeling, and it terrified me to share that in a group full of strangers. And the amount of people who came up to me after and were like, I see you and you're not alone, and you know, they were just like, these parts of you that you feel like aren't lovable, that you're so scared to share with the world, like, that's loving that part of yourself is true self-love.
Yeah, it's remarkable what happens in those groups. It really does. Like, just the meetings give me serenity. Like, I walk out of that room so calm every time I go.
Yeah, I told myself I was gonna go, this is what I do. I told myself I was gonna go every single day this week, and
That's very ambitious, though.
And I did not. And I was like, I'm going to do outreach calls, and I'm going to get into the book, and I have not.
Yeah, I haven't gotten a sponsor yet, so it was my New Year's resolution to get one this year, because that's the next obvious step for me. But even just doing the meetings and reading the literature, even that's been healing. And between that and therapy, I'm like, oh, I can totally do this sober. I don't have to do any kind of anything. And I actually have no desire to do ayahuasca, and I sometimes wonder, because there's some people that do it all of the fucking time, but I'm like, how do they reconcile how privileged it is to pay like $1,000 every weekend to do it?
Who's doing ayahuasca every weekend?
There's people. There's quite a few.
Wow.
Yeah.
To me, that feels like an addiction.
I think the escape is the addiction, right?
If you're doing it multiple times a month,
you just want to go bye-bye.
Yeah. That's how I feel. It's like there is a big spiritual community in LA of people who like call themselves like light workers and conscious beings, and like they're just on drugs.
Yeah,
like
and they're spending thousands and thousands of dollars on this healing.
Yeah, I'm like, you're doing ayahuasca all the time and you're on ketamine every day and microdosing acid.
It's a lot.
Like, I think every guy I've dated on the west side has always been microdosing, and I'm like, I can't. I got it.
They all work in tech and they're all microdosing and doing ayahuasca every other weekend, and I'm like, are you okay though? Like, are you okay?
Yeah, because when you're obsessed with self-help, it sort of is self-harm.
Yes.
Because you're going, something's wrong with me. I'm crazy. I'm fucked up. I need to change. Da 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 da. It's like you're pointing the finger at yourself so aggressively that it is mean, and it's almost not helping because you're sort of stuck in the I have a problem and I need to fix it, and this will fix it, and this will fix it, and this will fix it. But I was in that place, so I can relate. And it wasn't until I was like, there was a point where I was always reading a self-help book. I was never not reading a self-help book.
I'm kind of still in that. I definitely still do it a little, but I think what I'm going to do this year is put down any of the new ones and come back to ones that I know were really helpful that I've since forgotten about.
There's some that really have changed my life. Like, have you read The Mountain Is You?
No.
Oh, it's so good. I've read it twice. And someone from TikTok told me to get The Art of Self-Love.
Ooh.
So I ordered that today. And I read 2 pages and I go, got it. Love myself. I tend to do that. I'll buy a self-help book. Mm-hmm. I'll read 1 chapter and I'll be like, healed.
A lot of times those airport books, I call them airport books because you automatically, I think everyone knows what I'm talking about when I'm talking about airport books.
You bring them on an airport, you bring it to the airport and you never read it?
No, they just always have them at like Hudson News and whatever. It's kind of like the same like the New York Times best-selling self-help books. I think my issue is I read the self-help books and then I read the productivity books and then they butt heads with each other.
They tell you 2 different things.
They tell me 2 different things, and then I'm taking too much accountability for, number 1, how not productive I am, which is fucking bullshit. I'm easily one of the most productive people I know. Number 2, I'm then like reading books about how to be compassionate towards myself and I'm enough and this and that, but then it's like, oh, I'm not, I shouldn't say these people are brainwashed, but I definitely don't go as far as to like listen to David Goggins and be like, oh, I should wear all the fucking cartilage out of my knees running. Like, nothing like that. Nothing that hardcore.
I saw David Goggins. He was at the Lewis House Summit of Greatness, and a woman asked him a question.
If he's okay.
She's like, what's really going on in there? Are you okay? She asked him a question about masculinity and femininity. Femininity? Why does that feel like that sounds...
That's femininity.
That's a word.
Yeah, absolutely.
As I said it, as it was coming out of my mouth, I was like, that's not a word. But it's a word. It's a word. He could not answer it. It was amazing.
Ooh, I have a good answer for that question.
He's so in his masculine. He's toxic masculinity self-help guy.
Totally.
And he's so far in that area that he was stumped on stage and he could not answer it and was just like talking in spirals and circles. But what were you going to say?
Oh, just with him, yeah, as soon as I learned about him, I was like, what are you running away from, number 1? Number 2, my favorite
the cartilage in his...
Yeah, it's gone, where it's like...
That's what he's running away from.
Do you just need a hug? Do you need to run 400 miles or do you need a hug?
He's like, I don't need love.
Yeah,
I need money in my bank account. And then he fights fires for 4 months.
Crazy. Of course he does. I didn't even know that, but of course he does.
Yeah, he literally goes to places where they have fires, which I guess there's...
Just be here, bro.
Yeah, there's some places in the world who have fires for 4 months in certain parts of... And he goes there and fights the fires for 4 months, and everyone was very motivated by that. They're like, we need to go fight fires for 4 months. And I'm like, this is psychotic.
It's so psychotic. I heard the best answer to like what is masculinity that I've ever heard, and it was that masculinity is not the difference between a woman and a man. Masculinity is the difference between a boy and a man.
Oh, see, I heard that masculinity was doing, and femininity... I need to stop saying that word. Feminine. I'll just say feminine energy.
But I'm getting behind that word.
Femininity is being.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, and it's just energy. It's not like man or woman. But that's like the masculine energy is like doing action, effort, and then feminine energy is just like receiving, being, staying still. Like
that's hard for me to do because so much of my self-worth is tied into productivity.
Well, you can't really be, even if like with talking about creativity, you have to kind of be still and let it come to you.
Yeah.
So it's productive to not do anything. It's so hard to
so hard because me not doing
wrap
anything,
your brain around.
Yeah, I'll like, for example, if I go to write, I have a very structured system that I'm sure I got from like James Clear Atomic Habits or whatever. I was doing it like a little bit even before that. But of making sure I'm always sitting kind of in the same setup, listening to similar music. I always do it with like a coffee in hand or a certain kind of tea because I feel like I need to put my brain in writing mode and I need my atmosphere to be correct. So it's not quite doing nothing, but I have rituals. And having those rituals, I think, help me get the creativity flowing.
But sometimes I feel like my best ideas come when I am letting myself not do anything. Like I'm literally just like sitting somewhere.
That's good. I'm going to switch gears one more time. Where did you get the idea? Because you started doing all these ridiculous, amazing reality TV show impressions.
Oh, yes.
Where did you get that idea? Did you want to do that?
I didn't want to do any of this. I didn't ask for this life. I want out. I really get inspired when I watch reality TV because it's real people like freaking out, and I find it so funny. Like humans just being humans is so interesting to me, and it makes me like, I don't know, I just see things that they do and I like want to reenact it in a way that I see them do it, even if it's like exaggerated. So yeah, the inspiration happens from reality TV more than anything else.
Yeah, well, you're so spot on with the mannerisms, and it is such a study. I always explain it to people because I love reality TV, and for two reasons. Number one, it's the most desirably mind-numbing thing that I can do to actually make my brain stop at the end of the day, and number two, it's like...
Yeah, because don't you watch people acting when you watch a show? I watch that acting, and I'm listening to the dialogue, and my like writer brain turns on.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to enjoy it when you know what's going on behind the scenes, but with reality TV, not only is it so wonderfully mind-numbing, but it's also a microcosm of human psychology, and you do get to see all these crazy behaviors that we're all capable of coming to the surface.
Especially with love, like reality TV shows, when people are trying to find love, and they lose their mind, and you're like, because I'm crazy too.
Oh, me too.
When I like someone, your dog's like, and confirm.
Same. Yeah.
Like when I like someone, something turns on in my brain that's like, crazy time. Time to go crazy.
I'm glad it's not just me. I've gone so crazy. I will like a guy. I will try to turn into him, which is such a weird
that makes
kind
sense.
of approach to take.
Do you know what having a crush on someone is?
A lack of information.
It is a lack of information, big time. But having a crush on someone, liking someone, you see things in them that you wish you had in yourself.
Yes. That
Every
totally
time.
makes sense, because I just will try to turn into somebody because I'll admire them when I have a crush on them, and I'm like, what are you up to? Should I be up to that too?
I think that's cute.
Yeah.
I think it's cute. And I also think if they have traits that you're lacking, why not? Why not implement them? Like,
it's been helpful to me, and I've since taken it as a way that the universe communicates with me. I think when I'm supposed to make some kind of life decision and I'm at a crossroads, the universe will put a hot man in the spot where I should go, because I've made certain life decisions that I'm like, oh, I was supposed to be on that path, but it was originally inspired by some weird dumb crush I had. Like, I started stand-up because I had a crush on a comedian. I moved to California because of a guy that I was like dating a little bit.
wait,
Yeah.
this is amazing.
I've made a lot of big life decisions
Because
and
you liked
career
a guy.
decisions because I liked a guy that was doing that. And so in retrospect, I'm like, oh, this is how the universe directs me, because it knows I'm going to pay attention to a hot guy. So it goes, look over there, there's a hot guy. You should be doing what that guy's doing. And that's how I like find my path. And it never ends up being about him. It always ends up being about what I'm supposed to be doing.
This is how we should be dating.
Yeah,
Because-
it's pretty wild, but it's been very, very helpful for me. It's carved my path for me in lots of ways.
Well, this happened to me with my character that I do, that is my most viral character that I feel like I'm known for more than anything. The character Mango, the light worker
what
rave
a
girl.
delight.
Do you know how she was born?
No.
I had a situationship
Ooh.
who was a DJ.
Oh my god, that's so cliche. I love it so much.
This is actually very embarrassing. He went to a lot of raves, and I was not a rave girl, but my friend, my really good guy friend, we became kind of tight at the same time that I was with this situationship, and he started he's always invited me to raves, and I've been like, that's so stupid, why would I go to a rave? And I started saying yes to the raves, hoping to see my situationship at the rave. And I met the girl who came up to me and she's like, I'm a light worker, empath, healer, medicine woman, ketamine. And I go, keep talking. This is a character. I kept her in conversation for so long, and then I wrote down everything she said. And then the next day I filmed, posted, and he reached out to me. And he kept reaching out, because this character, every time I posted, went viral, viral, viral. And it works. But you know what's so funny? I wasn't really into him anymore.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And
he was your universal path guy.
He was like, oh, can we like work together? Like, and then he got like weirdly desperate. Like, he's like, I want to do this with you. I want to do that with you. I want to work with you. And I was like, ew.
Ew, you served your purpose. Thank you, next.
But like, isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm. It's amazing. It's such a gift.
Okay, so I think the rule of thumb for women watching is like, we need to like date as many men because there are pathways to our creative success.
No, I'm telling you, there's something to that. It has just happened to me, and it was like the guy that I had a crush on when I started doing stand-up. I immediately didn't like him as soon as I met him. He was like hitting on me and being gross and drunk, and I was like, ew, you suck.
He was being a man.
He was, yeah. But thank you so much for introducing me to stand-up. It's like my whole world now, you know?
Yeah, my ex, my first boyfriend ever, who, like, my first love, I'll just say. Oh, he's such a great guy. If he needs to know that he has ruined dating for me, because he was the best. He was the best boyfriend I've ever had, that every single guy, I'm like, you don't compare. Every guy I've ever dated.
I don't have one of those.
He was so, I can't even like, yeah, anyways, I start crying. I'm like,
This is a comedy podcast.
yeah. No, it's fine. Him and I wanted different things out of life. But he was obsessed with stand-up. And I could take it or leave it. And he would take me to New York. And I remember we saw Louis C.K. before Louis blew up. He took me to like all these shows. And he would always be like, let's watch Conan. Let's watch these stand-up comics or whatever. And I was like, whatever. And then once I started doing stand-up, he was like, what's up with this? It's like, why are you? It was after it was way after we broke up. I started doing stand-up. And I just thought it was really funny. Because I'm like, that was like his thing that he was like obsessed with. And now I'm like, hello.
You're like, hey, I'm just going to take this over real
quick. He saw me. I mean, I guess I was like 3 years in when he saw me perform. And he was like, you're really different on stage. And he was like, he was really weirded out that I said the word fuck or swear. Because I guess I never sweared when I was dating him or something. I don't know. Who knows? You know when you're new and you're like, pussy bitch, fuck slut. Oh, yeah, you're just on YouTube. It's fine.
It's okay. I'm not monetized. Yes.
Well, I think the first 10 minutes you can't say all those words.
Okay.
But.
Well, we didn't. We did good.
Okay, yeah.
Well, for the love of our love-themed reality TV shows, I want to play a game with you.
Let's play
of this or that. Because here at Podcastina, we do episode prep and everything is very formal and official, and no dogs bark.
No one comes to the door, and no one is burping silently.
And maybe some of these you haven't even watched, because I had some help from ChatGPT with this. Some of these I haven't watched, but maybe you have, and you can narrow them down, and we can figure out what the best one is. Okay. Bachelor or Bachelorette?
Probably Bachelor.
All right. Love Island or Too Hot to Handle?
Oh. Love Island. Wait, which Love Island?
Oh, all of it?
Because the US, I really liked the USA Love Island the last season. So yes, Love Island.
Perfect. Married at First Sight or 90 Day Fiancé?
Oh, 90 Day Fiancé because Big Ed.
Oh, hell yeah. Agree with that. Okay, Love is Blind or The Circle?
Oh, Love is Blind. Are you kidding me?
I knew you'd say that.
Love is Blind is my life.
Okay, Bachelor in Paradise or Summer House?
I've never seen either.
Okay. Skip that one.
So we'll say Summer House because
Summer House. All right.
Hannah Berner was on that show and I really love her. She's a comic.
And then this is, I'm calling it a dating show. Catfish or The Ultimatum?
Probably Ultimatum.
All right.
Because I think Catfish is kind of fake. Because I was actually, they reached out to me and they were like, "You seem like you have a story."
Oh, whoa.
The casting was like, "We definitely know you've been catfish," and I was like, "What about my online persona screams that I've been catfish?" And they were like, "Come on, dig deep. You know you have a story."
That's kind of a dig.
Yeah, I was like, "Do I have a story?" And then I kind of gaslit myself, and I was like, "I think I have a story of being catfish, but I never ended up meeting up with him." Oh. And they said that's a deal breaker, and I said, "I'll reach out." Right now, and they said, we'll move on.
Good to know, good to know. Okay, now we're going to narrow these down from what you narrowed it down. The Bachelor or Love Island?
Love Island.
Okay. 90 Day Fiancé or Love is Blind?
Love is Blind.
Summer House or The Ultimatum?
Ultimatum.
Okay, now we're down to 3?
3.
All right.
Fuck, marry, kill.
Fuck, marry, kill. Love Island, Love is Blind, The Ultimatum.
Which one do I pick? Or we're really gonna do fuck, marry, kill?
Yeah, why not? Since there's 3.
Okay, so I would marry a Love is Blind. Fuck The Ultimatum because it's like exes and that's hot. You know what I mean? And then kill. What's the other one?
Love Island.
Love Island. No, I would kill The Ultimatum because I will kill all my exes. And then I will fuck Love Island because everyone on Love Island is so hot and they're naked and it makes me horny to watch.
Fair.
But also I'm gonna marry Love is Blind because I feel like I got a lot of love from all the videos that I post.
As you should. They're so funny. And the characters on there, I think, I'm like a big Bachelor Nation person, but I still would say that Love is Blind
is the best.
Characters are way more entertaining for sure. And we get to know them so much deeper. Like, the Bachelor franchise is just so overproduced, whereas I think we definitely get this like level of authenticity with Love is Blind just because of the amount of time that they're stuck with the cameras.
Love is Blind is the craziest premise for a reality show. Fall in love with someone you've never seen and agree to marry them and then have to like meet them and like smell them. Because like, what if someone has bad breath? I'm sorry, I'm out.
Yeah, that's all it could take.
Or if a guy has an odor that I don't like, no.
I wouldn't be able to do that either because there's some people that have this BO smell where they can't even help it, and I can't be near it.
Can't be near it. No.
It would be something I can't get past.
Yeah, and so people lose their minds, and it's so interesting to watch because you're like, what would I do in this scenario? And then it's like an insight on like your own psyche, and it's an insight on like how you communicate during conflicts. Like I've learned so much through watching reality dating shows because communication is so hard for me. But I see people having these conversations, and you're like, oh, I can talk about my feelings, and I won't die. I always feel like I'm gonna die.
I always feel like I'm gonna die too. Even in friendships, I feel like I'm gonna die, even though I have such safe friends that I can like bring things up to.
I literally feel like I'm standing at the edge of a cliff, and right as I open my mouth to talk about my feelings, I'm like, oh, and my body shaking, and I'm like, but I keep, and in my head I'm like, keep the focus on yourself. Scary.
What's been something that frees you when you're like, okay, I can talk about my feelings? Like, what's helped you overcome?
Oh, I literally will just, like, with the other person?
Yeah, I think because I still have to really practice. I'm so afraid of confrontation because I feel like I'm going to get yelled at, just like some kind of childhood shit.
Yeah.
Most people are not going to yell at me over something very simple, especially if I bring it to the table really calmly. Right. I always think I'm going to get yelled at. And so I don't even know. I'm not sure what like my blind spot is with that. I still get like so apprehensive to bring up anything, even when it feels so safe.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just always curious if people have like a go-to, if you have a thing where you're like, it's not a big deal, I can speak my truth.
I just think, I'm like, this is going to torture me if I don't say it. And then I'll end up resenting the person, and I don't want to resent the person. Like, that's what always helps me do it. Because I'm like, I am going in circles in my brain, and the circles will turn into like hostility and resentment towards someone, and that's so unfair. So it's better to just talk about it and like free that up.
Spare yourself the resentment.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one.
Spare them the resentment because they don't deserve it.
That too.
Yeah.
Well, I could talk to you truly all night.
I know.
I cannot keep you any longer. Dana Moon, where can people find you?
Oh, yes. Find me. Appropriately stalk me. My Venmo is Dana /
I'll put it in there. I'll put the Venmo in the show notes. I don't give a shit.
Why have I not been plugging my Venmo?
Why have I not? I'll give you guys my Venmo too.
At Dana Moonme on Instagram, and oh man, I was about to do TikTok. That's so sad. And I'm headlining at the Nightcap this Thursday, so come out.
Amazing. Yeah.
I'm gonna do a longer set.
Cool. Thank you so much for doing the show.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you everybody for listening. Bye.
Bye.